Yes, so today I'm going to take you through how you can unlock efficiency within your teams with AI and automation. So first of all, what is AI and why should you care? So in line with today's talk, and just to speed up some time for myself, I asked ChatGPT, what is AI in automation? Now, ChatGPT is an AI tool or chatbot that you can use to automate content or like several other tasks that we'll go through today. So when I plugged it in, it fed back that AI in digital marketing refers to the use of advanced algorithms and machine learning techniques to analyze large amounts of data and essentially make more personalized experiences for your customers. Sorry, one moment. I've already got dry mouth from our, from our networking at the start. But at Impression, the way that we use AI is actually to scale simple or repetitive tasks so that we can save time, resources and budget for our clients, and that's what the talk is going to focus on today. But some of you may be thinking, doesn't Google penalize the use of AI? Not necessarily. So Google has actually come out and said that AI does have the ability to power creativity and levels of expression, and it can serve as a critical tool to help deliver great content on the web. But however you do this, whether it's a human, whether it's through AI, you need to make sure that the content that is being produced is original, high quality, and made for people, and demonstrates qualities of experience, expertise, authority, and trust. So keep that in mind as we go through the talk today. Fab, so what I'm going to do now is give you some common business challenges that you may be facing alongside their AI solution. So first of all, you may need to start scaling up your content. Now, this could be you're launching new category pages for an e-commerce website, or potentially you're starting to scale up your informational content. Whatever you're doing, this sort of content can really drive organic growth for your business. But the issue is, writing this content can be a real drain on your internal resource or budget, and this means it can be really hard to get buy-in from your stakeholders, and tasks like this might get pushed back for more quicker wins, for example. With AI, so with tools like Copy AI, you've got Jasper and ChatGPT, you can actually speed up this content creation. Some common methods would be to generate short form copy, and I will say human input is needed here, and we will come back to this in the talk. You can provide a heading structure for blogs, so to speed up your blog creation process, you can use these tools to come up with a blog skeleton, so then you can take it away and write the blog, and you've already had that inspiration and research process there. And then finally, some of you here might not actually be writing the blogs, but you might need to write the content briefs that you then give to a copywriter, and this can be a real drain on resource too. So you can use tools like this to automate the content brief process and speed that bit up, and then you give it to your copywriter. So there's a few different ways you can use it here. And this is an example from Copy AI. So essentially, we've plugged in a blog title, some keywords that we'd like to target, and then a tone of voice that we'd like the blog to have. And here it's given as a heading structure. As if any of you have written a blog, if you've got the heading structure there, you're probably going to write a blog a lot faster now you've got that skeleton in place. But some of you may be asking, what about writing long-form content? What about writing a full blog, for example? And I will use Bankrate as an example here. So Bankrate are a personal finance website. And what they've done is they have used AI to create over 100 blogs for their website to educate their readers about personal finances. Now, this is quite controversial in the industry. There's been a lot of talk about it because they're a personal finance website. And Google deems this as potentially harmful because if you're giving out the wrong information, it's going to damage your users' finances. So there are some really strict guidelines in place. But what Bankrate has done has been really transparent, and they've tried to demonstrate still expertise, authority, and trust. So they really transparently said, yep, AI has written this content. However, it's then been reviewed and edited by 2 humans. And it's important to note that both of these humans that you can see here, weird saying humans versus robots, both of these humans here, they have their own author bio, and it explains why they're experts in the field, and Google can clearly see that. So there has been some actual positive results from this use of AI. So the blog that I just showed you there has actually now been ranking for 96 keywords on page 1. So it is driving visibility and traffic for the brand. However, just because they've seen success, it doesn't mean that you should go now and churn out hundreds of articles with AI. So I'm going to give you an example from Mark Williams-Cook, who is an SEO industry expert. So he's created a website, and he created 10,000 pages purely of AI-generated content, no human input. It started to do well, started to generate clicks and impressions, but as soon as Google realized this content was created simply to rank and not to provide helpful information for their users, there were no signals of experience or expertise, you can see it fell off a cliff. So as I said earlier, and confirmed by Google Search Liaison Danny Sullivan, no matter how you write this content, whether you're human, whether it's AI, if you're writing it purely to rank, you're not going to do well. If you are demonstrating signals of expertise, experience, authority, and trust, potentially like Bankrate did, you may see results and get rewarded. So the verdict is, maybe you might be able to write long-form content if you do it carefully, you do it with the right approach, and you use the right prompts. This is quite important, and I could go into detail about this so much, but I don't have time today. So if you are interested about how you can write long-form content, definitely catch us after the talk, and we can go into more detail. Fab, so we do need some more water. Another challenge that you may be facing is visibility. So some of your competitors might be more visible than you on the search engine's results page, and you really need to increase your visibility. Now, a reason this may be is that your CMS doesn't automatically assign schema to your pages. Now, schema is basically a piece of code that you can mark up your content with that tells search engines explicitly what the content is and like how it's helpful to users. If you don't have this, you're not going to be able to display rich snippets in the search engine's result page. So I don't know if you've searched and searched for something, and in Google you've seen the FAQ drop down that comes under some listings. This is because of things like schema. So if you don't have this and you've got a lot of content, there can be a lot of pieces of code that you now need to write to see if that will increase your visibility. There is an AI solution for this. ChatGPT and Jasper can automate pieces of schema for your website, but I do need to say a caveat here. So this should just be a short-term solution for proof of concept, that adding schema to your pieces of content might prove results and move the needle a little bit. This is actually another benefit of AI, I would say. Like, you can use it for proof of concept, and then when you've got results, you can then go to your stakeholders and say, look, we've trialed it with automation, we've saved time, and adding schema has given us results. Now, please, can we have the functionality on our CMS to do it automatically so we don't even need to use automation, for example. Now, I'm going to go through an example here. So I've taken a recipe online. I searched for courgette recipes. Someone in the audience may recognize this recipe. But essentially, when I typed in courgette recipes, I looked at the top 3 results. The websites in position 1 and 2 both use recipe schema. Great. But the domain in position 3 didn't use recipe schema. So this is an example here where you might take a look at it and think, okay, let's try and add schema, let's try and move the needle and see if we can get above of our competitors. So simply, all I did was went on the page, copied the entire recipe, and pasted it into ChatGPT with the very simple prompt, create recipe schema for this recipe. In a matter of seconds, I had this code spilled out for me here, and I don't know if it's correct or not, so I need to check whether this is good schema or bad schema. So I copied it, and I went to the validation tool, which is schema.org, and I pasted in the schema, and it was almost perfect, except for one property that didn't need to be there. So it added in the cuisine of Italian. So all I had to do was literally delete that. It took me a couple of seconds, and then the schema was perfect. So there's 2 lessons here. If I had to do this on scale, this would have saved me so much time. I could just do it for all of the recipes on the website. Second of all, human input was absolutely necessary here. Yes, it took me a couple of extra seconds or minutes, but I needed to check that, otherwise this schema wouldn't have worked. So human input necessary. Finally, so our last challenge that you may have. So for some online brands, there's an opportunity to use programmatic SEO to create tens, hundreds, or even thousands of new pages on their website. And so programmatic SEO is where you have a keyword pattern. So for example, best things to do in city. And you're going to have the same sort of page that follows the same structure for Nottingham, London, Sheffield, and so forth. That essentially, even though you can get all these pages through programmatic SEO, following that pattern, pulling the content and creating the content for hundreds or thousands of pages is a huge, huge task. And again, it can be that bottleneck for organic growth or even driving this task ahead. I will say, normal programmatic SEO projects actually just use data because it's much easier to pull, and so you don't normally see projects like this using content. However, now that we have AI, you see where I'm going? Now we have AI, you can combine programmatic SEO and use solutions like ChatGPT to support you with the content. So you'd create the template, you'd follow the keyword pattern, but then you can either automate the content, get inspiration, tweak it with human input, so that can speed up the process a lot. And I'll just give an example of a programmatic SEO project from Failery. So Failery are a website who give information to startups and founders. And they were able to achieve over 30,000 users over the course of 3 months with just one of their programmatic SEO projects. And this one specifically, they were targeting industry pitch decks, so retail pitch decks. And essentially what they had to do to get the content for this was hire a freelancer, and over the course of 50 hours, over 3 months, they were able to scrape content needed for these pages. I think that was over 400 pages, and then organize it. But obviously this was just specific pieces of data or trends rather than informational content. So the project was a success. Obviously, they're driving traffic, but if these pages had to include informational content, so like blogs, or it went into more detail rather than data, it would have taken the freelancer a lot more time, or they would have had to hire multiple freelancers. So this is where then you'd pull in automation and AI, and that could save you so much time and get an amazing programmatic SEO project over the line when you wouldn't have even considered it before. So there are so many other tasks that you can that can be supported by AI and automation. There are just some listed here. I think what is most important is you actually need to know what to ask your tool that you're using or what prompt to use. But as I said, this is a huge school of thought, and it takes a lot of practice. So if you would like to know more, please grab me at the end of the talk and we can maybe talk in more detail. Or take a look at these resources from Sam Underwood and Aleda Solis, and that will give you a good starting point. Cool. Now we've gone over some challenges and solutions, I just want to go through a real-life example where Impression have used AI, and this really helped efficiency within our teams. So one of our clients, we wanted to add around 80 new category pages to the site. Now this is because we wanted to open up the filter pages, and there was a huge amount of untapped visibility and revenue here. To do this, we worked out it would probably take around 40 hours, and it would have taken us around 3 months to get all this content written. So this is where we were thinking, can we lean on automation and AI? So one of the members of our team created a script to use OpenAI, which is an AI tool, to generate introductory category text, so just a couple of sentences at scale. And this would only take us around 7 hours to proofread it and tweak it afterwards. So this is OP by Impression. It was our only internal tool, and this is what we use to generate meta titles, meta descriptions, and short form category copy at scale, and this is what we used for this task. I will say, as of yesterday, very excitingly, it's now been released to the public, so everyone here, literally anyone can get access to this tool on our website and use it to generate your own content at scale. So this is really exciting. But essentially, we plugged our prompts in, And out came our copy. So we had a spreadsheet of our 80 category text copy. And yeah, we spent 7 hours tweaking, editing it, making sure it fit our client's tone of voice. And the result was, it saved us 26 hours of time. The launch of pages was not held up by us because we were in charge of the content. We are still waiting for them to be uploaded because we were just too fast, clearly. But no, this project's still ongoing, so we'll get back to you on the results and we'll definitely report on those. But it was just an amazing saving on our time and efficiency. Now, it wouldn't be right talking about the successes of AI without talking about the potential pitfalls and the warnings. So I'm going to go through a little story. So one of our clients' e-commerce websites had over 20,000 images without a descriptive alt text. Now, these images were really important to our client. It's an e-commerce website. People browse and purchase products by looking through image search, but also the image carousels on the search engine's results page that you often see coming up. So this is a huge untapped market of visibility and revenue we really wanted to tap into. So of course, with 20,000 images, we're going to use automation to look at the images and see if we can get the image alt tags developed through AI. But was it successful? So I'm going to throw a question out to the audience. What do you think this image is? What would I have liked this image to come back as? Pillow? Yeah. Anything else?
Pillow with gold bits.
Pillow with gold bits, yeah? Yeah, yeah. Even pillow, yeah. Pillow with a gold trim. 2 pillows with a gold trim would have been perfect. It was a stack of books. Yeah, this was absolutely nowhere near what it was, and it really was not helpful in the slightest. Did we check all 20,000? Luckily, no. We only trialed this with just a few images, and this is my warning here. If you're going to use AI, make sure you're trialing it first with just a section of URLs or images, and then spot check. There were quite a few instances of things like this, so it just wasn't a viable option for our client, and it would have caused more issues than trying to do it a different way. So that's just one example of how the misuse of AI can lead to issues. But there is also copyright issues. AI sometimes plagiarizes. You've got hallucinations. So this is where AI will spit out a fake fact and make it sound so real that you think it's real, so it's a hallucination. And then it generally could just give you unhelpful or harmful content, and this is not what we want to be putting out on the web. So what tools are available for you to use? There are quite a few that we've mentioned in the talk today. Obviously, you've got ChatGPT, which is a really popular one that I'm guessing quite a lot of you have already heard of. There's also Copy AI, Jasper, and Text Wizard. These are really good for content automation. But of course, have to shout out OP as well, which is Impressions tool, which you can literally all use now. And that will be for meta titles, meta descriptions, and short form copy at scale. So one thing that you are definitely all thinking about, I know, is what is the cost? So quite a few of these tools do have a free plan. You can go and play with it and use it for specific singular tasks. But if you're going to do tasks at scale, so some of the things that we've spoken about today, you're likely going to need a paid plan so you can get the API access. With OP, it's a little bit different. This is where you sign up to OpenAI and join your account, and you just have to get an API key. And the way that that's charged is at 0.002 cents per 1,000 tokens, and 1 token is 4 characters. So you might have to do a bit of maths. I can see some confused faces. You just have to do a bit of maths to see how many words you want and how much that will equate to in the cost. But what I would do, whenever you're thinking about automating a task, just think about how much it would cost to hire a freelancer to check it and all of the different pieces that you would need, and then compare that to the cost of the tool. So, in summary, there is one thing I really want you to take away from this talk, and that is a hybrid approach is absolutely essential when it comes to AI. When you do it through a hybrid approach, it can absolutely reduce the resource needed for time-intensive tasks. It can help kickstart the research process and give you some inspiration. It balances out both human assumptions and AI biases in your work. But it does require practice. You need to carefully fact check, you need to proofread, you need to work on getting your prompts right, so what you're asking the content or AI tool to do. And you're likely going to need investment, so you need to think about the cost too. But I'll leave you with that. We've got some resources here if you're interested in learning some more. But if you do have any questions, obviously I'll be here after the end of the talk, so happy to go into anything in more detail. I'll pass back to Polly now.